Hey guys, BS Squared Gaming here, back again for our second episode. I thought our first episode went pretty well, wanted to do a second. Hopefully we can do more, right? Again, we'll introduce ourselves from our left to right, starting off with...
I'm Sideways.
Sideways with a 9. My name's Brainwashed, and this is...
Supbud21.
Supbud21. He's 23 though, so...
I think he's 24.
Oh, he's an old man, that's
24.
right.
Yeah.
He's an old man. He's older than us by like a decade, I think.
Like a year?
No, shut up. Okay. Anyway, so in this episode, we're going to go over some either mistakes or just some ads that happened between now and then, or when we filmed and then now, and maybe some mistakes, something we missed. Then we're going to go over some bets we made for the upcoming season. Yeah.
Spit it out.
Shut up. And then we'll go over this map we got right here. Okay, worst map in the entire game.
Yep.
Alright, so first up we got the Guangzhou Charge. This is something we missed. They announced the departure of Neptuno, Chara, Crystal, and Weyat, or Waya.
Weyat.
Where you at? Crystal's a big one. He was really good, but I think he was booted from the Hangzhou Spark for not showing up. I think that's what happened. I think he took a leave of absence in season 2 and then just didn't come back, and then got picked up by the Charge.
You'd know more than me. I don't really watch the APAC teams.
I mean, I don't
Nothing
either, but
against-
that was back when they were in APAC.
Oh, well, that's true. Well, yeah.
It was a pretty big thing back then.
Yeah. I guess that's true.
Who cares, really?
And like, I don't really watch the APAC teams now. Like, nothing against the teams or like the orgs. Like, I want to see the players succeed, but I don't really want to stay up till 3 in the morning watching Overwatch League.
I guess it just depends on the night, right?
Yeah.
Like into the Saturday, I don't really care. Anyway, and then they announced the departure of Nero and Happy, and this is something we missed last week. We said Kareev, I hope he gets on a team, blah blah blah. We were talking about Kareev, right? And I missed that he got added to the Guangzhou Charge.
Yeah, they picked him up like right after Shu went to Vlad's.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm glad he's on a good team. Like I said, he's a really good player.
Mhm.
Single-handedly held himself against won the game against the Vancouver Titans in their heyday.
Yeah,
This was back when they were playing
on the Valiant, right?
on the Valiant, and Goats was a thing, and single-handedly held the Valiant, or got the Valiant to a win against the Vancouver Titans in season 2.
Yeah. Well, also, when you said the departure of Happy, didn't Happy go to the Outlaws?
Happy went to the Outlaws. He was supposed to go to he was supposed to go. Well, him and Nero were supposed to go to the Outlaws, but the shock.
The
came
shock
in.
got Nero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't even talk about Happy going to the Outlaws on the last episode, I don't think.
Did we talk about the Outlaws at all?
We talked about the Outlaws, but I remember rewatching it, and we didn't mention Happy at all. Because we said that they had...
We mainly focused on Dante being recent.
Yeah, 'cause we-
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so
Yeah.
Happy going to Outlaws doesn't make too much sense. They have KSF, they have Dante. Right now, they're sitting on 3 solid hit scam players, like they always do. Like when they had Linkser and Dante together, Hydration was supposed to come in to play the off.
Or
to
the
play the
flex support.
Yeah,
or
the flex DPS, and he ended up playing main tank because Muma sucks. So it's hard to call. I just don't think they're gonna be good. He's not gonna be good. Anyway, anything else? They also signed Mandu. I think I heard about him a little bit.
Well, I think the Outlaws are going to be a little bit better than they were last season. Because now they actually have,
A good hit scan player.
Well, it's not the good hit scan player. They actually have a tank line that are actually supposed to be
Exactly.
playing tanks.
Exactly. Anything you want to add on the Charge?
I got nothing. Like I said,
Okay.
I'm not really a huge APAC watcher.
Next, we'll talk about the Hangzhou Spark. They announced the departure of Otto, Adora, Ria, Sassen, and Bebe. They were a really good team, which was really interesting to get rid of most of their... I guess they fell off. They were really good in Season 3, and then they fell off in Season 2. They fell off in Season 3. I don't know where they're going to be this season.
Yeah, I'm not too sure either. Compared
But-
to like,
Go ahead.
well, like when they're stood up against like the other APAC teams, it's kind of like,
They're kind of a bit outclassed.
yeah, like especially when there's teams like Seoul and Shanghai, and now with Philly moving to APAC,
Yeah. Exactly. So we'll see how they do this year. A couple of things that I did want to... They signed Bernard, who was on the London Spitfire. Now, we see the London Spitfire. They're adding essentially British Hurricanes. So we saw them get rid of... Now, I actually have an issue with that because they were doing really well when they got rid of their... in Season 3, when they got rid of their entire team, their championship-winning team, and signed a bunch of just randos from contenders, right? And so it's real interesting to see them get rid of all these kids, essentially. Like, they were doing really well. They were holding up. They were holding their own as just like a completely new team. So the fact that they're getting rid of them and going for British Hurricane shows that, like, oh, they're actually trying to play to their audience. They're actually trying to get Europe's fan base.
Yeah, it's just kind of like they realize that they're not going to make a money run compared to the other APAC teams, so might as well play like with your players from the region of your
exactly
audience. You know what I mean?
So I wonder if they're going to move back to
North America.
North America. I wonder if that's the move, like Paris is.
It might be, yeah. Well, because consider like if Dallas and Philly do end up. Well, we know Philly's going, but like consider if Dallas does end up going to APAC, then obviously maybe they need teams to move back to North America. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I wouldn't rule it out
Yeah,
of
but
the
North
question.
America's already too stacked. I mean, it's already stacked enough as it is.
We're not talking about stacked. We're just talking about teams in general. Like, to be completely honest, APAC is lacking in numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's
Yeah,
like
but
8 teams
that's
there
what-
and 12 teams here.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just odd because if they're picking up the entirety of British Hurricane, then they're going to have to move.
Well, I wouldn't say entirety of British Hurricane. They picked up 5 out of the 6 of the starting roster. The one guy that didn't get picked up was Danid, and he was their flex DPS. And they picked up Hybrid and one other guy. I forget what his name is. But yeah.
They were Swedish, weren't they?
I think so. But yeah, the British Hurricane were looking pretty good. Obviously, in contenders, the American Tornado kind of just walked all over them. They were called Tier 2 Drama Alert Nation. And then because they saw the top team in the EU was British Hurricane, they're like, okay, screw it, we're American Tornado. And they ended up beating British Hurricane. But a lot of the good, like, there's a lot of notable players in the British Hurricane. Sparker, their hit scan, like, I saw him play a lot of Widow, Ashe, and Tracer. That dude's nuts. He's going to be one to watch. I think their main tank, Hadi, I think is his name. He's pretty good too. And then obviously we saw Kelix on. He's been in the league like twice already, I think, but then he got sent back down to contenders. This is going to be his 3rd time in the league, which
Kelix is trash.
He's not the best, and it's going to be really, really interesting because this is pretty much do or die for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if he gets booted down from the league again, I don't know if he'll ever get another chance.
No, probably not. I'm surprised he got a chance this time.
Yeah.
When he was on Boston, I mean, he's just like...
Well, to be fair, it's
Boston. And then the one I really wanted to talk about, so we just went off on a whole tangent. We're coming back to the Hangzhou Spark. The one I wanted to come back to is they signed Sominsu.
Ooh.
Yeah, interesting, right? From the old Vancouver Titans.
Yep.
So, I'm glad he's back in the league. I'm pretty sure he was out of the league. And if he wasn't, I apologize, but I'm glad he's back in the league. At least we get to see him play, even if it's just on replays and stuff like that. We don't get to watch it live. I still want to see someone see live. I remember on Twitter, they have a Twitter account called Fuck It Sominsu. That's pretty funny.
What do they
Twitter
post on there?
They just say like they have like situations, and they'll say, "Fuck it, Sominsu." yeah, that's about it. That's stuff we wanted to add. We talked about the London Spitfire. We went off on a tangent, but they're looking not great, but not bad. I mean, yeah.
It's hard to tell if they're going to be better than they were last season.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it was, I would say, the second best contenders team, because obviously American Tornado beat them, but
yeah,
at the end of the day, it's still a contenders team, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they said that about Runaway.
Oh.
And Runaway came in, when they came in as the Vancouver Titans.
And Element Mystic.
We'll see how they do. We talked about that last week with Dallas Fuel. So this will be an interesting year. This will be an interesting season. Anything else you guys want to add?
Well, also, in addition to the stuff that we have to talk on there, we do have the elephant in the room.
What's that? Oh yeah, On's retired.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I am both happy and displeased at the same time. Happy because the man, like I was saying last episode, it's the reason why we're bringing in new people such as Glister and Nero. He wanted to focus on his mental health, and I give that man full obligation and nothing but support for him in order to work on that. And I hope he gets better, and I really hope he does. But I'm feeling very unhappy because we've just lost, like I said again, the last week, the best Widowmaker in the whole entire league, and probably one of the best hit scans. And it's just really, it kind of drives me a little bit to be a little upset, because not only did we lose him, we lost again Rascal, Moth, and it's just it's really depressing. But I want to. But I can't be selfish about it. If he's doing his own thing and he wants to work on his own mental health and his own stability, then I fully support him no matter what he does. And and I wish the best of luck to him. But hey, Bonds, thank you for getting us a championship last year when we were brought in.
Yeah, it's always sad to see a good player go. I feel like it's the same situation as like Sinatra. Well,
I think Sinatra was just kind of over the game, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. He was a bit over it. I said it last week when I would like players who don't have any passion for the game to go. Not because they're bad, not because I'm mad at them, but just because it makes the game better, right? Like now, like if somebody's playing because they don't want to play or because they're having mental breakdowns. It's just not going to make the game fun. Like they're going to stop trying and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm sad to see Ons go. Happy for the reason why he left. Just like with Surefour, Sinatra, like I said last week. Although it did affect both of our power rankings.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about that.
As soon as I let you guys know that he was retiring, I got a immediate message from Sideways of not even 30 seconds later, I'm changing my ranking list.
Yep.
I'm not going to deny that.
it affected our power rankings, and we'll talk about that when we do our power rankings. So anything else we want to add on Ons besides RIP? The best sniper in the league?
Well, that was his rookie season, right?
That was his rookie season.
Yeah, that was
his rookie season. Yeah.
Impressive showing.
Yeah, like I said though, just On's Shock fans loved you, and we all appreciated everything you did for us. And best of luck on everything you need to do for your mental health and for your family and for anything that throws at you in life.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. So next we got a mistake. We said last week. We said DM got this for the Shanghai Dragons. DM got we said DM got dropped,
which he did.
He did, yeah, technically. But we forgot to say that DM was re-signed as well. So just keep that in mind. DM's a really fucking amazing player.
He's Carpe's best bud.
Yeah, exactly. Carpe DM. They actually came up together, and then he won the Sniper 1v1, didn't he?
I think he did.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was this year or last year, but I know he definitely
won last year.
I think he definitely won at one point, yeah.
Yeah, so it went DM Carpe. Or at least, maybe it was a match between Shanghai and Philly. and they watched. I don't know. Anyway, he's a better sniper than Carpe.
Ooh. Okay.
Next, we have we're going to talk about the bets we're going to make this season. Okay, so we are going to make a couple of bets, just because. One, putting money on it means that we're actually serious about what we think. It's not going to be too much money, but. And then, two, just because bets are fucking fun, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like, betting's really fun.
So the bets that we do have going on is going to be, we have a power ranking list. We're only doing NA teams because those are really the only teams that we're watching. It's nothing against the APAC teams or anything. But basically all 12 NA teams that are confirmed to be in the NA for now, we have a list from 12 to number 1. And if even you guys wanted to participate, you could go ahead and do your bets and post them in the comments. We'd like to see what they are. You know, it's always interesting.
Yeah.
Lord knows we read the comments. Not many, but, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Go
It's
Spitfires.
encouragement for the show.
Our comments, we're seeing a lot of London Spitfire fans.
Yeah, we are.
Yep.
Yeah.
We would love to see them come in. I mean, if they end up coming into North America, we'll revise our power rankings. It won't be too much. We'll probably just place them where they think we think they're going to be.
Yeah, and we'll also make adjustments. Like, for example, there are rumors that the Fuel are moving to APAC.
Exactly.
So we would obviously readjust for that.
Exactly.
But yeah.
There goes Fusion's happiness, I guess.
They still have the Shanghai Dragons and the Seoul,
Oh,
Yeah.
Seoul to worry about.
So yeah, we're doing the power rankings bet, and then we're also doing a championship bet of which one of our teams gets the closest to the grand final, or winning the grand final.
Yeah, so if none of them end up winning the grand final, it would be the closest. So let's say Dallas gets second behind, for some reason the Dragons, right? Let's say Dragons end up winning it all, and Dallas was their second. Then everybody in this room, except for me technically, but I'd probably still do it because my hair was blue before, are going to dye their hair blue.
We're going to dye our hair the primary color of whatever team ends up winning. So, for example...
Our respective teams.
Yeah, so if the Glads end up winning the grand final, then that means that Brainwashed and Supbud have to dye their hair purple.
Mm-hmm.
The Shock win the finals, that means that me and Brainwashed have to dye our hair neon orange.
Yeah, which... Anyway, and then the bets for the power rankings, they're going to go whoever gets the closest to the power rankings. We'll figure out what closest means.
Are we going off of, who gets the most right? Or are we going off of, most accurate, and just try to figure it out like that?
We'll probably go with most right, and then if it doesn't come that close, we'll figure it out then. We still have till the end of the season to figure out.
Yes, that's
but
fair.
we have $20 on this, okay? We have $20 on this, the power rankings, and then we have the hair for whoever gets the closest. Hopefully one of us do win it, because we think we are. But if not, we'll get who gets the closest. So now we'll go into our power rankings. All right, so we'll start with my rankings first. The 12th team I have, or the bottom, is the Vancouver Titans. Okay, they were terrible last season, and they lost their best players in Suna, Shockwave. I think they got rid of KSAA, right? They dropped a couple. They're terrible. I don't know what to tell you. They're going to look a lot like Boston last season. And they're just going to... I just think they're going to be last in the North America. Not much else we can say. That brings me to my 11th team. I got Boston. They're looking a little bit better than last season. Not great, but I think better than Vancouver. I don't know. I just don't like them much. But I still think they're better than Vancouver, which my bottom two are kind of a fight between the orgs. They're both orgs are terrible, and just whichever one's worse. Number 10, I got Paris. They dropped all their best players. RIP. I can't imagine they're going to do great with the team they got now. They have I think they have one good player, and that's about it. Because they picked up Onigod, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. Neptuno's meh. Onigod's probably their best player right now, and I just don't think they're going to be great. At number 9, I have Toronto. Again, they dropped a lot of their best players. and they weren't good last season, and their best players went to a different team. There's just not much to say. Like, if you're not going to have good players, like, you're not going to have a good showing. Next, I have Houston. They did have a couple of good pickups. Never really liked Houston. That's why they're lower for me. Except for their logo. If this was a logo tier list, their logo would be tier S, but that's about it. Their colors are crap. Players are, except for Happy and Dante, are crap. That's all I gotta say.
It's a whole thing. Like, you can't have two Texas teams.
Dude, okay, so this Overwatch League is a trippy sport. I remember going on Twitter one time, and there was like a I don't know, an argument or something over Dallas and Houston, and they were being between two fans, and they were being respectful to each other. I've never seen this sport's so trippy because it's in its infancy and it's a bunch of people who don't really watch sports. They don't understand that, like, especially like a state team, like two state teams, you have to be mean to each other.
Oh yeah, like taking for example like the Dodgers and the Giants.
Yeah, exactly. They hate each other.
Absolutely.
And I had to comment on Twitter. I was like, the fact that two Texas team fans are having a respectful conversation just goes to show like how trippy this sport is, like this league is. I mean, dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. Next we have at number 7. I got Atlanta. Again, I like their team. They have a couple of good bright spots, but they got rid of a lot of their best players. I'm not saying Dogman's their best player, but they just got rid of a lot of their best players. After Atlanta, at number 6, I got Valiant. They're looking better with their new off-tank, Adam, right? Adam.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think in North America, like, so let's just say from right here, about half the list is where, from 6 down is where I think they're going to be bad. From 6 up is where I think they're going to be good. Okay, 6 up is where I think it can go anybody's which way. Okay. Valiant, I just don't think they have the gall and the players and just the raw talent to go too much farther than maybe 6th in this region. Okay, they're good, but they're not great. But you have to be great, right? Like,
yeah.
Just to compete at all. At number 5, I got Washington. Like I said, a lot of good pickups. Hopefully they can bring it together this season and not explode in the last, in the championships and then lose one and get out because they're not good enough. So I'm hoping that with Decay and, with Decay being on the team for the full season, not like he was last season, I'm hoping that Decay can bring them together and they can get a pretty good showing. Because I like Washington. I always have.
Oh, yeah.
Even when they were trash. Even when they were trash, I really liked them. That was back in GOATS when Corey was playing Zarya. As soon as it went 2-2-2 and Corey could open up, man, they just looked really good.
Oh, yeah.
And then, again, they didn't have Decay. They were playing Tuba and Stitch. And then once they got Decay, they put them on Zarya, but that was for the last. And they don't have a team that doesn't have all good components like Dallas or like Dallas or San Francisco. They can't go farther than a couple of wins and a couple of scary moments.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping at least that they bring it together and they can at least get 6th, or 5th, because I think every team after this is going to be a scary thing to compete with.
Mm-hmm.
At number 4, I got Florida. Florida just the last 2 seasons have been getting scarier and scarier, and I think they're gonna be 4th. I mean, I don't think they have the gas to get past my next 3 teams, which I'm sure you guys can. I'm sure you guys can guess what my next 3 teams are.
Who's 3rd though?
I just don't think they're gonna have the gas to get past them. But I think they're going to be a scary team to compete with. I think they're definitely going to be in competition, just like Washington. 3rd, I have Gladiators. this is where we're all gonna fight on who gets like number 1, number 2, and number 3. No, I don't like Justin more than you. Okay.
I don't care.
I just think.
I mean, I put the Shock above Dallas on my power rankings, so.
There you go. Yeah, I think even with Ons leaving, I don't think it propels the Gladiators up to second or first. I don't even think there's too much bias in what I'm saying when I do my next two.
Mm-hmm.
I really do think that Gladiators are gonna be about third. I think they have a lot of good components. I think they're gonna make it a really good. They're gonna make a really good competition this year. It's gonna be a really fun time watching these teams go at each other. But I just don't think they have the gas or the leadership to get past third.
Yeah.
Raw talent doesn't win it alone. I think they really need a leader, and we'll see if they can get it. They could go to first. They have the raw talent, and they could be at first, but I just see them at third right now. Next, obviously, I have number 2. I have Shock. Again, I think On's leaving actually did change it up a little bit. I was going to put Shock at first, because while Rascal's amazing, I just don't think
Rascal's gone.
Exactly. I don't think he was what put them at first. I think Ons and the Tanks put them at. I think Ons and the Tanks won it for him, in the championships and stuff like that. So I just don't think Rascal by himself propelled him to first. So I still had them in first. But I think switching Ons with a good but not great sniper in Glister just doesn't cut it. I don't think they could propel themselves to first with just that. I don't think they're winning any championships this year. I just don't see it personally. I think FD God also was a big one for me. Why they're in second and not in first? Because FD God, while he's a good player, he's not as good as Moth. While he's got a good attitude doesn't win it alone. Moth had a good attitude, and they lost against Atlanta. What else am I supposed to say? So they're second. And lastly, obviously, I got Dallas. I love seeing contenders teams who reigned in contenders come up and wreck in Overwatch League. I think bringing this entire team back together, they all have Overwatch League experience. So they're bringing all this synergy together with Overwatch League and winning experience, and they're just going to bring it. They're going to bring it home, I think, this year. I just think they're going to be an unstoppable force no matter what region they're in. If they do end up moving to APAC, I'm probably going to switch. I'm probably going to just drop everybody else up and put them in first and on the other side. But we saw it with Runaway in Vancouver. Again, I think they lost to San Francisco in the second season because their mentals were boomed, and that switch over to 2-2-2 made it really, really hard. But they wrecked. They had their synergy. They brought it together, and not only did they win one time in season 2, the Vancouver. Not only did they win, they could have won it all. Again, we can argue about why they didn't win it in Season 2 all day long. There's no discernible reason why they lost it.
They got 4-0'd by the Shock.
But again, why did that happen, right? But we see them dominating. We see other teams wanting to bring in contenders team. We see it with the London Spitfire, right? I think we saw it somewhere else. No, we didn't see it anywhere else. But we're watching these teams bring in entire teams from contenders. So obviously there's something there. And I just think with the added experience for a whole season from the Overwatch League and the fact that they won, I think it gives them the drive and the talent to push them to first. I'm talking about Dallas, of course. Anyway, that's my power rankings. We'll move on to because he's got a book. I'm gonna put him last. Sup Bud last, but so we'll go with him next.
All right. So for my 2021 NA Power Rankings. At number 12, I have the Vancouver Titans. Kind of like what you said. I feel like we're all kind of thinking this. Maybe. I don't know where your brain is sometimes, bud, but the Vancouver Titans in last in the NA ladder just because I don't really see anything notable from them. I mean, like, they lost Shockwave, which was their shining star, so
Exactly.
what else are you supposed to do there? I don't know who all got dropped from that team or if there are any notable pickups, but just from what I saw on the surface, I didn't see any reason to put them any higher than 12. So.
Yeah, exactly.
At number 11, I have the Paris Eternal. After dropping their whole roster, essentially, and picking up one shining star in Onigod, I don't see it.
And not even Shining Star, just a serviceable
Yeah.
player. If he was on, if Onigod was on Shock, he would look good, but he wouldn't look great.
Yeah. Paris Eternal, I mean, you got Onigod, Neptuno, and
A couple of contenders.
yeah, Naga, I think is one of their names. It just didn't really impress me all that much.
Not at all.
Obviously, it's a budget team. We'll see how they do, but I ain't holding my breath for them.
Exactly.
At number 10, I have the Boston Uprising. And I decided to put Boston above Paris just because they made moves, at least. They picked up Soon. They picked up I'm 37. They picked up Stand 1, you know. Hopefully Stand 1 will be playing over Fusions. They still have Myeonbong. I feel like they're going to do better than Paris.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I decided to put them at number 10.
They have Punk, too. I forgot about Punk.
They do have Punk, yeah.
I might have to switch up my
Stand.
power rankings.
No, you can't switch them up now.
Oh, okay.
Stand 1 and Punk, I think that'd be a pretty good tank line.
Yeah.
I like that.
Hopefully the synergy.
At number 9, that is number 9, yeah, I have the Atlanta Reign. Which, now that I'm thinking about it, I probably shouldn't have ranked them here after watching the Valiant Winter Ball because they took the Gladiators to the final, or they were playing Gladiators in the final of that. But at the end of the day, like,
You can't switch it now.
no, I'm not switching it now. I'm just reflecting on it. The Reign, they looked good in the Winter Ball, but like at the end of the day, like I don't see any longevity with it. I see Edison, I see Pelican, and that's about it.
What do they have for their tanks now?
Gator and Hawk, or did they get dropped?
No, I think it is Gator and Hawk, which I always thought was a subpar tank duo. I always thought Popo was better than Gator, but they put Gator in. They put Gator in because of the Orisa meta, which I'll give him the fact that he was better than Popo at the Orisa meta, but I just don't think he's very good on any other role.
Yeah. So that was number 9 for the Atlanta Reign. At number 8, I have the Houston Outlaws. Houston are gonna look a little better than they typically do, I think. Obviously, with picking up Happy and picking up KSF, they still have Dante. And like I said earlier, they actually have a main tank now who's supposed to be playing main tank.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, who did they get for support? They got Crimzo and...
Crimzo, did they pick up a main support?
Well, they had to have by now. The deadline passed.
All I know is of Crimzo.
We'll figure that out. But obviously it wasn't a name big enough for us to be like, oh, shit.
Yeah. So I feel like they're going to do better than they typically do, but I don't think it's still going to be superstar team, you know.
Yeah.
At number, what was I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
You're on 7.
6. So I'm on 7, yeah. Number 7, I have the Los Angeles Valiant. I don't think that the signing of Adam is going to be enough. I do like KSP a lot. I like Shax a lot. But at the end of the day, who do they have as main tank now?
I think it's not
It's
Gig.
Dreamer still, right?
Yeah.
Dreamer was serviceable. He was pretty good, but just the signing of Adam alone, I don't think is what's going to push this team.
I just think they have some really unproven talent in their support line, and I think they got rid of most of their support line.
Did they get rid of Lastro and Rain?
No.
Yeah, they still have the same support line then.
Oh, yeah, I think the support line is their biggest weakness. And I think their coaching is the biggest weakness, too. one of their big weaknesses at the very least. I hope they figure it out. I would like them to figure it out because I like the pickup that they made with Agilities.
Oh yeah, I
Bring
forgot they have
him back.
Agilities again, yeah. But at the end of the day, how much playtime do you think Agilities is going to get when they run Shaxx on Tracer, who's has a case for the best Tracer in the league?
Yeah.
Not saying Striker isn't, but it's definitely a debate between Striker and Shaxx.
Yeah, and then Shaxx has probably the best Reaper in the league too. It just depends on what the meta comes up, because if it's Echo, Shaxx isn't playing Echo.
Yeah, definitely not.
That was their biggest weakness last season, was the fact that they had 3 hitscan players playing in KSF, and that's what I was saying earlier with Houston. I mean, now Houston has 3 hitscan players, and they need. I think that's just the biggest thing is everybody tries to pick up good hitscan players because hitscan's probably the most important DPS.
Mm-hmm.
But when they try to put their hitscan players on projectile, what are they supposed to do? That's not what they're used to.
Exactly.
And then they're
Point and shoot.
and then they're playing on higher ping too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when they play on higher ping, it's like even more that they have to think about. I don't see 3 hitscan players working out at all.
Yeah.
And I think with Agility is going to be better this season, but again, I think their support line has never been good. And their tanks mostly have never really been good. McGravy was good, but he wasn't Choyo Bin good, or he wasn't
Han Bin good.
Han Bin good, you know what I mean?
Hot take here. I think Agilities is a little washed.
Oh, he's very washed. Are you
So-
kidding me? It's in and out all over again.
I would have to just see
You
him
wouldn't
play
get that.
season 4.
Okay. So that was my first 6. Cracking into the top 6, at number 6 I have the Toronto Defiant. And the reason why I put Toronto here is because I feel like they're going to do significantly better than last season, but still not cracking into my top 3 or anything. They signed Coach KDG from Philly. They brought over a bunch of Philly players. Like, I think Hisu went over there, didn't he? Hisu and Ivy?
Ivy. Did Ivy go over there?
I think so.
They brought Sato, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, the question then is, who does Philly have as a main tank now? Because I couldn't remember Sato.
Manu.
That's right. So then that means
Manu.
that Sato did go to Toronto.
If we get anything wrong, I will probably edit something in.
You say that now, but
I'm
not
probably
holding my
edit
breath.
something in.
Yeah, I ranked Toronto number 6 just because they look kind of promising, but I don't know if it's going to be star power level. Number 5, I have the Florida Mayhem, and I feel like they're going to do good, but the other teams are going to do better.
Mm-hmm.
That's just all it is. I have nothing against Florida. I think they're a really solid team. But this next team that I'm going to talk about made a lot of moves and is looking really, really solid. So I don't think I'm just being hopeful here for this team, and I think that they're going to take number 4, and that's going to be the Washington Justice. I have very high hopes for them. They picked up number 1 main tank in Mag, re-signed Decay, like you said. Now they're going to have him for a whole season.
Mm-hmm.
They dropped Stitch, correct?
They dropped Stitch.
So they're most likely going to be playing Decay on Hitscan.
Yeah.
They still have Tuba.
Uh-huh.
And then didn't they pick up another off tank?
They picked up
Fury. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they're looking pretty good. And then they got a new support link. So I think that Arc and Aim God got let go.
Arc and Aim got let go. I will put it in right here.
Of who they signed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Either way, it obviously impressed us enough to put us at,
We also got,
4th and
we also got
5th
Closer
respectively.
on support.
Closer on
Closer.
support. Who was their? That was their main support. Who was their off support? Do you remember?
Crap, I can't remember that one.
That's okay.
That's
We'll
all right.
figure it out.
We'll figure it out, yeah. So I put Justice at number 4. I just have high hopes for them, and I'd like to see them succeed with this new... I want to see Mag.
Yeah.
I think
Mag's
he's going to be
really
nuts.
exciting.
Yeah.
At number 3, I have the Dallas Fuel. And after watching these players, as a Paris fan last season, most of them came from that team anyway. They do have a lot of bright spots, but they do also have some weak spots. When What are you doing?
Hey, stop
Number one.
interrupting him.
I'm not interrupting him. I wasn't saying
He's being a
anything.
nuisance.
He's a
Anyway,
nuisance.
I think they're going to be very solid. I think they're going to take top 3. Can you stop? You're distracting me. I didn't do this to you while you were doing it.
It's because
Sportsmanship.
you're wrong.
Okay.
Just wait until we
Yeah.
play her hair.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Fuel, they're definitely going to be better than they traditionally are. I'm really excited to see them play. I do think they're going to be the most exciting team this upcoming season. I just think that they're going to fall just short of the next 2 teams. At number 2, I have the San Francisco Shock. Pretty much, I told, or what Sup Bud was saying earlier, is I actually had them at number 1, because, and obviously now you know my number 1 is going to be the Glads, but I'll get into them. But after I saw, or he said that On's retired, I'm like, well, Glister's no Ons, so I'm moving them down to 2nd, and that's just about it. I mean, I think FD God's going to be a really, really good fit for the team, but at the end of the day, he's no Moth. But he could be under Coach Krusty. We'll see how that goes. I have high hopes for FD God because I loved him on Paris. Basically, just losing Ons, Rascal, Moth, that's just kind of hard, big shoes to fill. And I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. And I tried to keep my bias out of it, and I'm pretty sure I did. I'm going to be explaining why I have the Gladiators as my number 1 spot. This is the best the team has ever looked, in my opinion. After seeing their dominant showing on the Winter Ball, Florida couldn't even come close, which is a very, very good sign because Florida, I had them ranked at number 5, but they're still a really solid team. And it was actually the team that got the farthest with the Gladiators was the Reign. I mean, what else can I say about the Gladiators? They got Birdring, Kevster, Mirror. Obviously, those are all 3 DPS. They won't be playing all of them at the same time, but let's just say Birdring, Kevster, Muse, Space, Shu, and Moth.
I don't know. Mirror played every role last season.
Mirror did play every role last season. Yeah, if somebody's not pulling their weight, they're like, okay, Mirror, go in.
Yeah,
I remember they played Zarya over Space sometimes.
Yeah, they put him in on Brig and Zarya.
But yeah, it's just a scary looking roster, and I'm really, really excited for it. Obviously, last season I feel like our support line was what was holding us back, and the support line, like, what are you going to do against the best main healer in the world and one of the top off supports? You know what I mean?
And that's their tank line. I mean, OG didn't cut it either.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and now we have the second best main tank out of Contenders and Muse.
Yep.
So, I tried to be logical about my choices. There was not really any bias. That's just me speaking how I logically thought out my placements here.
Yeah, that's a good placement. And lastly, for our power rankings, guys, we got the novel writer, Sup Bud. Sup Bud, go ahead and give us your power rankings for this season.
Alright, guys. So, for number 12's power rankings, what I have is the Titans. It's basically going to be the same thing as what Brainwashed and Sideways said. I'm not really looking forward to them. I mean, with the purging of the players and everything, but I will say Linkster is the only one I'm excited for. Besides that, I can't really give him that much of a hope.
A bit washed, right?
Yeah, but
you gotta think 3 seasons in.
But he will be exciting to watch, I think. I don't know.
He's no Shockwave.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really polish a turd, right? Like I guess if somebody ate a quarter and it's shining, sticking out of the little turd, I guess that's, but it's still a shit covered quarter, right? Like you still don't want it.
Then for number 11, I'm gonna have to agree with Brain. I'm gonna go with Boston Uprising. I don't like Boston Uprising, as you saw in the last one. It's because of staff, the whole organization.
No. Don't do that. You said that you thought the Boston Uprising had a lot of promise. I'm rooting for them. I remember that.
I am, but what I'm saying is that while I am rooting for them, they have to go through a bad organization, and I think it can. I think they can still prove their worth, but I don't think that they'll do as well as what they can predict. I mean, what we can predict as, except for maybe the bottom. Number 10, I'm gonna have to go with Paris Eternal. It's I can't really say anything else, but the purging of the players, leaving FD God and just everything. It's just really, but I would have to rank them over at least Uprising in Vancouver.
That's odd to me. I don't know why you guys put Paris above Boston. Trust me, I hate Boston too, but it just makes more. They have better players than Paris.
Once you started bringing it up, I started thinking about it a little bit more. I think we saw that a little bit. Like, I'm questioning my power rankings, but I mean, you got to think of the Boston curse, man. You got to think of the Boston curse. Paris doesn't really have that curse, not yet.
For number 9, I'm gonna go with Atlanta Reign. And
interesting.
I
like
want
me.
to say that because of the same thing. It's just the purge of all the players. I can't I can't really think of anything else besides that. I just don't think they'll have it in them this year to go farther than maybe 9th place.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I can see it because there's so much like there's so much variation on the bottom of the list. Like, it's gonna be the hardest one to like gauge.
Yeah,
right?
I guess that's fair.
Like you said, I mean, maybe Boston could have been put up a little bit more, but yeah, Atlanta, they lost a bunch of their good players. Vancouver's easy. Vancouver's gonna be 12. Vancouver's the new Washington, except nobody likes Vancouver anyway. Vancouver's the new Shanghai, except I'm pretty sure they're going to win one or two, and so they're just not going to be Shanghai. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just going to be hard. Like, the bottom of the list is always going to be hard for everybody because you're like, okay, well, who's the shittiest shit? Or who's the dirtiest turd?
It feels bad because you're rooting for, like, the bad things to happen to these teams, even though they're part of an organization that, like, hey, you're an Overwatch league. You want them to do good, but there can only be so many good teams.
Yeah, exactly.
And then for number 5... I'm gonna.
Are we at number 5 already?
No, I don't think we're at number 5.
We're at number 8.
I was kind of wrong. My bad. Number 7.
Number 8.
8.
Who did you just talked about Atlanta? Who did you have above Atlanta?
I'm sorry. Yes, number 8. I'm sorry about that.
Guy.
Number 8. I'm gonna have to go with Defiant.
Okay.
The whole thing with Logix and Beast being re-signed, there's promise. But it's the same thing as the rest of Reign and Paris Eternal. They purged their roster, and it's just, I don't think that a two-man system, like a two very well-equipped players can bring a whole team to what a state of a championship team is.
But they signed Coach KDG from Philly,
Yeah.
and they brought a bunch of Philly players in.
Yeah, but I
It's
can't
his
really
power
see-
rankings, man.
I'm just trying to
Yeah.
ruffle
his
him up a
power
little bit, ruffle his feathers.
Oh, yeah, so I switched mine up. I got Shock in last.
Number 7. I'm gonna have to say the Washington Justice. Now,
Interesting.
Wow.
Interesting.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, I want to hear your explanation here.
So, I'm gonna have to say I'm very excited to see Decay, Fury, and Closer on the team. And last season, when you were watching this, the playoffs, you saw Washington take a very strong dive and almost a win against the Shock.
Oh yeah, it was the Wrath of Decay.
Yeah, it was the Wrath of Decay, and it was terrifying. But the only thing I can think of is they only did well with the off meta. Now, I'm not saying that they can't do good with all the new tanks that they've picked up and also the new DPSs and the new supports, but I need to see proof, or I need to be able to see that they can achieve not just a one meta team, and they can go outwards and see, hey, you have dive meta, you have mainly DPS, everything like that, and it's just, I can't really give it to them unless they show me that they cannot be only a one meta team.
That's a very fair
okay.
point.
So, but here's my thing is, okay, this is your power rankings, so I'm not gonna like dick on you for your own power rankings,
Yeah.
but I disagree with you putting them here because you're staking your entire this whole bet $20 on this one team, right? Not the entire, but I'm saying you're staking $20 and putting the team this far down because you don't know what's going to happen. See, in my opinion, the reason we're doing these power rankings is because we want to see them. We want to see where they might be, right? So you got to take all the raw data like Fury, Sato, and
Not Sato. Mag.
not Sato.
Not Sato.
Mag, essentially, especially, but Fury, Mag, Tuba, not Tuba.
It's Tuba.
Tuba's on there still?
Yeah.
Did
I
they
think
pick up Ivy and Hisu?
That's Toronto.
That's Toronto.
He's talking about Washington right now.
Oh yeah, and then Decay. You got to see like there's so much promise in these that like you got to put them where you actually think they're gonna be.
I know.
Like because of all the raw talent.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah.
Number 6, I have the Houston Outlaws.
Oh,
I know.
what?
Hold on. Yes, I do. And the reason why I have the Outlaws is not only, they re-signed Dante.
Above Washington, by the way.
Above Washington.
DSF and Happy, and they also have Crimzo. I think this team can show very promising potential, and I think they can make and I think their playoff run can be huge. I think it can be. And you disagree with me in the comments.
I disagree with you already.
I'll disagree with you to your fucking face.
I think Houston can have a good. I think Houston Outlaws will have a good run, and I think they can. I think they have promise for it.
Okay.
I mean, we kind of knew that was going to happen, right? When we didn't hear him in the first couple, we had to figure they're out of,
I mean, I was expecting
forgot
the
about
worst.
this
I
team.
thought he was going to put the Outlaws at number 1. I was kind of hoping for us to be like, okay, he's out of the bracket. Now it's just me and you.
Oh yeah, we won.
Number 5, I have Valiant.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I put them at number 6. So
I think Where did I put them?
Yeah.
I put Valiant number 6.
On that one.
No, I got them at number 6.
I have Valiant at like 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. They did lose KSF, which is it's sad for their team, but they didn't. But that was really only the main player that they really lost, and they placed
McGravy.
last season.
They lost McGravy.
Yeah, but an Adam pickup.
Yeah, wait, and they placed like 5th or 4th or 5th last season or something like that, or like 6th.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that if you have a team dynamic such as that, and you only lose like really one player, I think you can still be a good team and still make it hopeful.
Fair enough. I'm not disagreeing with you on this one. Just the last 2. That's it.
Yeah. Number 4, I'm gonna have to say Dallas Fuel.
Ooh! Ow!
Yeah, I'm gonna say Dallas Fuel for number 4. I'm excited. I'm excited for the Contenders team. Don't get me wrong, but also for Sparkle and Dawn. However, I don't think they show that. I don't think they can have. I don't think they're going to show as much promise as the rest of as the top 3. I don't think Florida Mayhem, the Shock, and the Gladiators. I don't think they can perform as well as them. And I would love to see it. I know that Brainwash hates my guts right now. But I truly think that they don't have. I think the other top teams can and just play a little bit better for it.
He's talking about the majority of the team that beat his team in the Summer Showdown, right? I just want to confirm.
It was a Genji meta. It was a Genji meta. That's all I'm gonna say.
Genji meta. They beat Florida. They beat a lot of teams. They beat every team. Okay. It's your power rankings, but
yeah, and you're making it sound like
that's stressful. Ooh, I'm making $20 this season. That's the truth.
All right, number 3, I got Florida Mayhem. They had a power drive last season. They were one of the best teams, and then also with the pickup of OGE and Slime, I don't see any. I see nothing but good things for them. And
why are you sucking OGE's dick?
Because, dude, I think OG is really fucking good.
I watched him last season on the Glads, and I'm saying no.
Even last season when the Glads picked him up, I thought it was a very odd pickup.
Oh yeah, totally.
I thought that no, he doesn't fit with the team at all, and I still don't think he fits with the team.
I think he's good. I think he's good, and I think he can really improve with the Mayhem.
Okay.
Okay.
Number 2, I have the Gladiators.
Okay.
And you know, I covered most of this last week. You know, Moth and all of that, and but also, you know, they have Moth, they have a Birdbrain, and you already know that he's going to be playing a his Widowmaker is already amazing, and with Moth and him, that could just be like the best in the whole entire league, just such it was with Ons and Moth. And also Muse. I mean, honestly, I really have high hopes for the Gladiators, and I think they can do really, really well. And you know, I wouldn't mind to see a championship where it's the Shock and the Gladiators in the final 2 representing the NA.
That'd be pretty nice, yeah.
Yeah.
He put Dallas at 4th.
Dallas is number 4th.
Dallas at 4th. Oh my God!
It's my opinion.
That doesn't even make any sense. I'm not even like on the team. I'm not even from Dallas or anything, and it still trips me up.
Well, it's funny because he was the one who broke the little circle we had going on. Because I had all 3 of our teams in the top 3. You had all 3 of our teams in the top 3, and he's
No,
like,
but he had to be the fucking dick.
no, Shock, Glads, Florida.
I think Florida's going to do better than Dallas, but whatever.
No, there's okay.
BQB and Yaki, dude.
Okay, and then number 1, I have Shock, of course. But you know, going off
Did
of
you hear
what
Ons retired?
I heard Ons retired.
I'm going off of what Brendan said. I am very you know, it was hard. It was hard, even as a Shock fan, to maybe think of them as a number 1 team. But you still got to remember that they still have Violet, they still have Choyovin, they have Super. I mean, you can name everybody, and they're still really, really good. Okay. And then the thing with Ons, though, and the whole entire Glister thing, you got to remember that Ons didn't start off as a Widowmaker main. He was coached by Krusty, and he became one of the best. And with that kind of coaching with Glister, and along with Nero and FD God, you know, their true potential can finally come out, and they can show that they belong in those roles as one of the best.
Question. Question.
The question
Okay.
is like
No. I have a question.
No,
I have a
the
question.
The question you were stating was that can they live up to the potential of what Moth and Ons were?
Okay, no, my question right now, the question I have currently that I need to ask you, if Ons didn't start out as a sniper main, or as a Widow main, what did he start out as?
He started off, I think, as a oh god, I forgot for a second. Hold on, he was either a
McCree?
Keep in mind, his name is legitimately Onzon Sniper.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. His full name is Onzon Sniper.
He was but I remember he was like coached on as something else. Like he was, I think it was either like maybe McCree or Soldier or something. I can't really remember, but I know that his Widowmaker was like continued to be better because of Krusty and all that. But I forgot exactly what it was.
Okay, well, so you're talking about your number 1, yeah?
Yeah, it's just, you know, I think that their true potential can come out, and, you know, like, it's just like, you know, people have the thought of can they be as good, like, can these new pickups be as good as what the old ones were? And I think they can, and I think they can still prove to be another championship team.
I mean, fair enough. We see them win twice in a row. I mean, like I said in the last episode, I really hope they don't win a third time in a row. Not because I don't like them, because they are my second team always. They're always going to be my second team, behind whoever I'm rooting for that season. But you know, I just think it would be really unhealthy for the league if they won a third time, for the reasons you heard last week. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting power rankings. I think one of them might cost you the bet. I think the other one, you're dead to me. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. This is exciting for the end of the, you know, we're waiting for the end of the season. I want to watch all these matches. I want to see them where they're placed. Putting money on it makes it more exciting. It just is. I mean, in my opinion. And then I'm ready to see who takes it all. I really want to see who takes it all. I want to see his hair blue. Personally, I want to see his hair orange too. But guess we'll see.
All right, so we get ready to get into our map analysis here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so up here that way and down here in the background you can see.
I hate fucking Volskaya. I fucking hate
hate it.
Volskaya. Volskaya can eat a fucking dick. The worst map. The worst map out there, okay?
So the thing about Volskaya Industries is that whether you're on attack or defense, you
It's
know
ass.
you're not gonna have a good
It's
time
ass.
either
Listen,
way.
in the first point, okay? On the first point, you got to come in as attack. We'll talk from the attacking perspective all the way until the last point, okay? On the first part, you come out. You have to split up. You have to go all the way around. Either way, you're getting yourself funneled into one little place.
Unless you
Okay.
want to sim teleport.
Unless you want to
Yeah,
sim
but that's-
teleport, which is
that's
probably
dangerous
your
when you have
best.
Paul or like a Lucio or something just waiting.
Orisa.
A Pharah.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, okay. So then you have to get funneled into this choke point. So you're getting choke pointed into a choke point. And then from that choke point, you have to choose 4 different choke points to get yourself into. Okay? So you choke point, let's say, coming around. This would be looking out towards point A. You're coming around the right. Okay? Then you can go up the stairs to the high ground, which is probably your best bet. We never do it because we're not that smart. But your best bet's probably go up to the high ground, come down. Then you have, you have going around the boxes, going around the crane and stuff like that. And then you have going around the box in the middle on the left, or through the room and up to the high ground on the left as well. Again, probably the best, but either way, you're getting choked into 4 small spaces that the team's probably already at.
And what you were saying earlier too, like you were saying, like your best bet is probably to like go immediately into the room and then take the high ground on the right, right?
Mhm.
But the only problem with that is people are gonna die before you can even push that far.
Exactly, 'cause they're
whenever we
always
play the
sitting
map,
right there.
it's just basically okay. We gotta pick. Go. Just do something else.
It's infuriating to me that the only good move you can do on choke is when you got a symmetric teleporter, like from the start of the choke to the top of the box that's like right near.
Yeah.
Oh, that high ground where I usually stand is Ash. Yeah.
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 It's just the entirety of point A is frustrating. The spawn for defense is pretty bad, so there's no real taking the point back. Unless you're down 2 and somebody gets a 4 pick, you know what I mean? Like you're not getting back as a defense, so you're probably going to take it if you get those kills. And then onto point B, you have about 3 choices, unless you're playing Sim, in which case I always just sit there as Doom on defense, or we have the Lucio sit there and just knock them off as they come in. But you can go up onto the high ground and drop down. You can go right through the middle, through that gnarly-ass choke. Because there's a wall back there, it makes it even harder. Or you can pile on to one of the moving platforms on the left and just come all the way around and try to drop on them from the back. But that's usually reserved for a McCree, High Nooning, any other, like a Tac Vise soldier. I fucking hate Volskaya.
You can go on top of that moving section and then try to go.
Yeah,
around.
but that's so easy to get rid of because
Yeah.
just because of the way Point B's set up.
Exactly.
You can hide from him. You just go into the room and hide until he comes back the next time. Attacking on Volskaya is ass.
Well, so is defending.
And let's get
It's
into
just
defending.
Not an enjoyable
Maybe
experience.
maybe it just sucks on offense because we don't really play that much of a dive meta. I mean, if you get the Lucio, the Reinhardt, and the Zarya to go in on a speed boost, along with Hero staying back and like the DPS is playing mid, but it's still
Probably
it's still
point-
bad 'cause-
Probably point B would be good for dive, but point A is not good for dive because you have that entire archway that stops your upward movement. You'd have to go over, in which case you're jumping into the unknown, or you'd have to move past, in which case you're just moving yourself farther into the choke, right?
Exactly.
If you could get past everything, then yeah, dive would probably be really good. And dive's I think dive's what they play mostly, right? Like, high teams or whatever. It's always a skill gap, that we're never going to be able to cross. And then let's move on to defense. So defense on A. Once again, let's take Temple of Anubis, which we'll talk about probably in a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Well, that shows just you saying that.
But on defense on Temple of Anubis, really quickly, you get to stand in the open, no chokes or anything, and just shoot into a choke. Okay? You don't even have that pleasure. You don't even have that pleasure on Volskaya. You have to stand in a choke to shoot into a choke. So essentially, yes, the attacking team is at a disadvantage, but only because they have to move on you, and you can hunker down. But God forbid your shield goes down. God forbid you're not playing Rhine or very movable characters, because you're standing in a choke already. No matter where you are, either side of the point, next to the box, 2 chokes. On the point, you got 2 places you can move, or you got a couple of places you can move, but the 2 most main ones are into the big pack room and into the small pack room behind the point. Either way, you're in a choke. Imagine playing like that. Okay? Now, moving on to point B. Okay? And I said it before in the attack, you can't get back to point A. It's too far away. There's too much movement. I mean, literal, like, you have to move in and out, because you can't access that high ground as a defender. Unless you're Widow, Ashe, Doomfist, movable characters, but you can't jump up onto that high ground and move forward. So you have to go around it. Okay, you can take the moving platforms, but I feel like that's even slower. And then on point B, they can come from fucking anywhere. Like, you don't know where they're coming from. Like, all of a sudden there's a stim teleport behind, and they're there if you're not ready for it. Those little platforms on the high ground that semi-cover the point B looking at it when you're looking at it, those are actually, I hate those things. I barely use those because it just cuts off your sight line from what's coming in around you. All of a sudden on the right side of the point when you're looking at the attacking team as defenders, all of a sudden there's a soldier, there's a tracer, there's a Doomfist coming in from the side. God forbid they get up behind you, because then all of a sudden there's a soldier, a tracer, a Doomfist coming from above behind you. Right? Like, it's chaos. And then spin to win. That's your only option, dude. Is to get onto Hammond and just spin to win on the middle of the point. And then coming out of that point, because there's a ledge right there that just falls to your death. You're done. That's it. You're trying to come out and defend, and it's so physically far away from the point that it takes forever to get there. And all they got to do is put 3 people on either side of the choke point when you're trying to come out of spawn and retake on point. All they got to do is put 3 people on each side, and you're fucked. There's just nothing you can do. And there's no, I guess you could access high ground from the right side of spawn, but that takes forever. You got to go all the way up. You got to get onto the top, and then you got to drop down. Like, I'm thinking ball in my head. Ball has to go up, and you know how awkward ball is to get moving without the grapple. But and then it's just really hard to retake. Like, they could spawn cap you as defenders. Like, I guess us talking like this sounds like we're just terrible at the game because we have issues with attack and defense. But we utilize this stuff. Like I said, if they ever sim teleport on second point to the obvious one on the stairs, I just knock them off, or I'll have my Lucio camp, or I'll have Roadhog camp. It's not that we're terrible. It's just that these are the most common. Like, when we're off that day, then it feels like all this shit's coming at us at that point. So it's not like we're terrible. It's just like these are the biggest issues with the map. We're coming in from a perspective of a team that's horrible at attack and great at defense, and then a team that's great at attack and I already said that, didn't I?
I don't even know what you said.
Either way, we're coming in. We're just coming in from our off days, right?
It's funny because, like, there's clear disadvantages on attack and defense, and whenever we seem to play the map, we get all the disadvantages.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Like I said, defending on point B is just like if they take the point, that's it. Like they're taking point. They're taking the entirety of B. Like it's really hard to retake as them because you're funneling yourself into 2 choke points. One of them's got a ledge on the back. One of them's super easy to just block. You'd have, if you're coming in from the high ground, just take a couple of Rhine smashes to the face and you're done. As a healer, there's essentially nothing you can do because there's really no healer that can advance offensively. They can only really defend themselves, right? Zen is just a glass cannon. All he does is go in and die essentially in a I'm not saying they're bad characters. There's just not too many healers. There's not any healers in my opinion that can 1v6 or 1v5 whatever's on the point. There are tanks who can 1v5 and 1v6. There are DPS who can 1v5, 1v6. But by design, healers cannot 1v5, 1v6. So it's just as a tank, you're such a big hitbox coming through a choke point that it's just you're dead. As a DPS,
You're just too squishy.
You can DPS do their best when they're set up. Genji going up in the air, Doomfist coming from behind, Tracer coming from behind, Soldier on the high ground, which sure you can get Soldier on the high ground. Bob does really well on defense.
Just to stall it out.
Yeah, just to stall out.
Too bad Samus won't playing Ash that much anymore, though.
Oh, I will.
Oh, we can talk about that. While I'm finishing up this, bring up the new nerfs and stuff.
I don't wanna.
Yeah, do it. This is all experimental stuff, but yeah. So Ash is a really good character to play on defense, no matter what point. Either way, Bob's really good at stalling out those points. Torb's a pretty good one because of those choke points. You can get the lava in, and then the turret just shooting away. It's Ryan Zarya is pretty good on defense for the most part, just because again those chokes, it makes Ryan and Zarya really good. Orisa Sigma is really good too. Mostly all because there's not too many tanks that are bad. Let's put it that way. Winston, D.Va, and Hammond are pretty much the only ones that are bad on defense there. And then healer-wise, Anna. I feel like Anna Mercy's probably the best you got on defense. Maybe Anna Moira.
It's what I always run.
Yeah, maybe Anna Moira. It just there's not too many. Just Lucio mainly on defense that I can think of who's not good to run. On attack, very mobile characters. Sim's pretty good attacking wise, so you can teleport behind it, stuff like that. Echo's really good to get above them, which when you say Echo, you have to say Pharah too. Mercy for the healers. Tracer to get behind them. Sorry, Ash isn't really good to play on attack.
I do it anyway.
Yeah. You want to
somebody's got to get picks.
Yeah, Junkrat's pretty good too, but you want to stay away from not very movable characters. Like, you don't want to play characters who stand still, just because of that choke point. You're just going to get focused down immediately, and there's not too many places. Now, don't get me wrong. If you can get past the choke point, Ash is pretty good. So if you have like a Junkrat just spamming down shields and you're able to get past it and she can get on the high ground, then it's just pick. Historically, Widow gets played a lot on both sides. If you're not a good Widow, don't play Widow. And also if they aren't playing pretty much a counter Widow, or a Widow that you can counter, or like an Ash or a long range something or other, then there's no point in playing Widow. At least Ash can do more damage than just probably not being hit headshots, depending on what rank you're in. Tank wise, just a rush down comp or a dive comp. If you can get past that arch, dive comp's pretty good. If you can't get past that arch and they're pressuring you down, probably just a Ryan Zarya rush comp, which means Lucio's really good on that map for attack. Zen can be okay if you can get past the shields. but mostly probably Lucio Mercy, just for single and group healing. Pretty much all the same goes for the second point too. When I say the team comps, yeah, Volskaya fucking sucks. I can't stand that map.
It's definitely Supbud's favorite map.
Yeah, except him.
Worst map in the game.
Anytime. Anyway,
And Junker. I mean, not Junker and Temple of Anubis.
Temple. I like
Just
Temple.
any 2CP map, honestly.
Yeah, 2C. You're not gonna hear us saying too many.
Hey, you guys remember Horizon? You guys remember
Hey, you know,
Horizon
think
Lunar
about it.
Colony?
We
And
played,
Paris.
And
we haven't
Paris?
played Junker Town in a while, have we?
I don't
Not
think
really.
so. Yeah.
We'll
Yeah,
see. I think
maybe
they keep. No, I think they lessen a couple of maps every season. Not completely gone, but I think they show them less.
There's some
Like,
that have like heavy rotation and some that have lighter rotation.
yeah.
Okay.
And so before we sign off, we will talk about
Some
the,
changes that are on the experimental mode right now that could potentially go through, which could seem to completely change up what's being played in the higher elos.
yeah.
By the looks of this, Sigma is completely irrelevant.
Yeah. So as of the 9th, these are experimental. These could change, and we'll probably talk about it next week if they end up going in or staying out.
So we got our tank changes here. Sigma's experimental barrier redeploy cooldown was increased from 1 to 2.5 seconds. And the justification behind this was, for weeks players have been using Sigma's myriad of obstructive abilities to cause chaos in ranked and professional games. This massive experimental change would alter how Sigma players survive within a fight. On the live Overwatch servers, Sigma players can redeploy the experimental barrier with abandon. This change would make him have to think more actively about their shield placement. So basically, as opposed to just Sigma just throwing out a shield now and just being able to just bring it back and throw it out pretty much instantly, now it's going to be like, throw it out, bring it back, and you have to wait 2.5 seconds before you could put it in a different position.
I feel like if you're playing second shield tank, it's not Rhine especially. It's not a huge deal. But as a Sigma player, when I do play tank and then when I do play Sigma, it's hard just because it gives you a lot less option. I never really used it to put it everywhere. I only really used it to one block damage, and it usually stayed where it was. But I also used it to stop Sigma rocks. I used it to stop hooks. I used it to stop pretty much anything else. Anna's grenade. Like it's hard. It's a hard one. I don't like it at all.
Well, keep in mind too, in the high elos right now, most of the team comps all revolve around Sigma Ball.
Yeah.
It's like what you're saying, like if you're playing Sigma with another shield tank, then maybe it's not as noticeable, but they're probably just trying to crack down on Sigma Ball.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Now Wrecking Ball.
Ball's a main tank.
Right, Supbud? Ball is a main tank, right?
Just continue on.
Okay. Wrecking Ball's adaptive shields per target is reduced from 100 to 75. So basically, he's still going to get his initial 100 from activating the ability, but he's only going to get 75 extra shielding from each target that he's near as opposed to that extra 100.
Their justification is because he's too hard to kill.
Yeah, exactly. Like their justification with it is
I would have to agree with it because if you hook and then pile drive into a team of 6 people, there's 600 additional health. Now
700 additional health.
700, yeah.
700. Now it's less, and I think that'll make the game a little bit better.
I think even ball players are good with that.
Yeah.
You know, they still get 75 per. So.
They just got to be a little tiny bit more careful.
Yeah, not even that much.
Now, their justification behind it is Wrecking Ball's main draw and his ability to disrupt the enemy team by rolling in, causing a disruption, or getting a kill, then escaping before the team notices. His adaptive shields add protection based on how many enemies are around him engaging in this kind of high-risk gameplay. The combination of Wrecking Ball's high mobility and shield capacity has made him a bit too slippery of a target. Like what we were saying, he's too hard to kill. Community manager Josh Nash said on the Blizzard forums, this 25% reduction on shields will make Wrecking Ball players think twice about a wild trip into the enemy backline.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and we kind of predicted
over
that,
it, yeah.
you know what I mean? And
Sideways.
Hanzo.
I think you just skipped Ash.
Yeah, hold on. No, hold on. Hanzo. Storm Arrow shot recovery time reduced from 0.3 to 0.25 seconds. And that's just not like recovery time from after. It's like literally every single shot from his Storm Arrow. So it'll be quicker. And that was pretty much the only thing that he got from there. And the comment just says, while he's no Ash, Hanzo also has seen a slight uptick in playing time over the past few months. This minor change makes his Storm Arrow a bit more dangerous, reducing the recovery time between the ability's 5 shots. This will make Hanzo better equipped to shred shields or take out a high health target.
I don't know about shred shields, but I'll give him the high health target.
Yeah, I wouldn't really say shred shields either.
And that's it.
That's it. Oh, okay, yeah, we forgot. Well, anyway.
So Brain, I heard that Ash maybe got buffed. Nerfed.
Nerfed, yeah. Yeah, it's a nerf. So, we have the Viper's aim down sights damage reduced from 80 to 75. Aim down sights recovery time reduced from 0.7 to 0.65 seconds. Actually, we were talking about this earlier today. I don't think it's a huge deal as a minor Ashe player. I don't play it all the time, but when he's not around, I get to play it. And I love playing her too. Honestly, I don't see a big deal with it. I honestly think it's a net nerf, or a net buff with her other buff with the 0.7, the aim down sights recovery time reduced. I feel like it's a net gain for Ashe instead of a net.
I will say that I will agree with Sideways, however, that not being able to take out a squishy that's now 200 health, it sucks. And that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy playing Mercy when I'm playing with Sideways as an Ashe, because I'm basically playing as a Mercy not only to heal the team, but to give him mostly his shot so they can kill someone with a one-chick hit. And it's just, I think the gameplay is going to be a lot different now, and I think Mercy will now be kind of decreased a little bit with it. I mean, maybe Mercy will be playing tons of Storm Arrows, but I think I think other heroes are now going to get their part and maybe become a little bit bigger.
See, it's funny because you assume I hit my shots.
That was a good one.
But anyway, it's so she can no longer one-shot 200 HP targets. She could still one-shot tracers even without a damage boost, and she could still one-shot widows with a damage boost, because widow's at 175 HP. So
I don't really think it takes her out of the meta, to be completely honest with you. I think if she just hits her shots, she's perfectly fine, because I feel like her kit revolves more around Bob and Dynamite more than her taking out and just sniping.
She's probably going to be seen more of a Bob Turbo type of play style now, as opposed to like skill shot picks. You know what I mean? Because you could, even with a damage boosted Dynamite, you can get. I mean, like with 4, like when me and you play Blizzard World, and I Throw Dynamite while damage boosted, I could get 30 ultimate charge just off of that alone.
Yeah. So anyway, net gain for her. Honestly, I don't feel like it's terrible with the aim down sights less. It just means that you're zoomed in, you shoot. If you get that headshot, you just unzoom really quickly, hit the shot that's quicker, without that time.
Didn't her shooting go faster?
No, not her primary fire itself, but the recovery time.
Yeah.
So the recovery time from her scoped in to relaxed, it's from 0.7 seconds to 0.65 seconds now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's just minuscule, but it's something.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I think that's it for today, right?
Think so.
All right, this has been BS Squared Gaming. My name's Brainwashed. This is Sideways. That's Sup, bud. Remember, don't fall off the map like Chipsa did. And you guys have a great day. I came back to edit this video and I forgot one thing. Sup, bud? You piece of shit. You put Dallas in 4th? Behind fucking Florida? Are you fucking me? That's it. You're dead to me. Shock's never gonna win anything anymore. And you know it.